Iloilo in the Philippines. In the epistle for this feast of Epiphany, taken the book of Isaiah, chapter 60. Arise, be enlightened, O Jerusalem, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and a mist the people. For the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall walk in the light, and the kings in the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thy eyes round about and see. All these are gathered together. They are come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar, and thy daughters shall rise up at thy side. Then shalt thou see and abound, and thy heart shall wonder and be enlarged. When the multitude of the sea shall be converted to thee, the strength of the Gentiles shall come to thee. The multitude of the camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Madian and Ephah, and all they from Saba shall come, bringing gold and frankincense, and showing forth their praise to the Lord. And the gospel. According to St. Matthew, chapter 2. And when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah, in the days of King Herod, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to adore him. And King Herod, hearing this, was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling together all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where Christ should be born. But they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judah, for it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem of the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come forth a captain that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, privately calling the wise men, learned diligently of them the time of the star, which appeared to them, and sending them into Bethlehem, said, Go and diligently inquire after the child. And when you have found him, bring me word again, that I also may come and adore him. Who, having heard the king, went their way. And behold, the star which had been seen in the east went before them until it came and stood over where the child was. And seeing the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And entering into the house, they found the child with Mary his mother. And falling down, they adored him. And opening their treasures, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having received an answer in sleep, that they should not return to Herod, they went back another way into their own country. Thus far the words of today's Holy Gospel. Glory to the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost, amen. This is the greatest feast of the Christmas season, the day in which three kings came to a little house. At this time, St. Joseph and the Virgin Mary were in some kind of a rented home. They were probably not still in the cave, staying somewhere nearby in Bethlehem. And on this day, the three kings came into the city of Bethlehem, and there they, seeing the star that had disappeared for a time, then reappeared, and they followed the star once again to him, and they lay down prostrate and adored him, opening treasures of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And today we give considerations about the seeking of our Lord, because it is interesting when we consider the childhood of our Lord Jesus Christ. The great virtue, says St. Jerome, the great virtue to be considered in the childhood of our Lord Jesus Christ is the first of all the virtues that get us to heaven. And that is the virtue of faith. Faith is to believe in things that are unseen, the substance of things that are hoped for, says St. Paul. And it's a vision of things unseen and the substance of things to be hoped for. There are two sides of faith. One is to see things you have not seen. When you go to the doctor and you're wondering whether or not you have cancer, you're wondering whether or not you have heart disease, or whether or not you are still healthy. You go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a checkup, and you see things that were unseen. It turns out you have a rare disease that no one ever saw before. Or it turns out that you have cancer. Or it turns out you have heart disease. You have seen things you had not yet seen before. The doctor reveals to you what you did not know. To see things that are unseen is not always a wonderful thing. We know that we say of Satan, that Satan was told by God on the very first day that Adam and Eve committed their sin. And then our Lord spoke with Adam and Eve and said, what has happened? They ate the forbidden fruit, and the serpent gave it to them. And then God revealed to the serpent what's going to happen. You shall be like a snake slithering on the ground. You shall be the lowest of the creatures. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed, and she shall crush thy head, and thou shalt lie in wait for her heel. This was revealed to Satan 6,000 years ago, and he knows it's true. But this vision of the truth does not make him happy. Faith is not only to see the truth. Satan sees the truth. And remember, on the day of Good Friday, we are reminded that the mediocre man, the average man, the guy who says he just works for a living and he's not wicked like Caiaphas, he also sees the truth. Because one day the truth stood in front of Pilate, who is the symbol of most men on earth. Most men are like Pilate. They are just average guys trying to get through. And they're not worried about the high things of religion. And they don't want to be bad. And they don't study very deeply. And so the truth is above them. So they think. But one day Jesus Christ himself, who is the truth, stood in front of Pilate. And Pilate asked him the question, art thou a king? And Jesus Christ, the truth, answered, I am. Thou sayest it. I am a king. For this was I born, for this came I into the world, that I might bear witness to the truth. He who is of the truth hears my voice. Whoever is of the truth hears my voice. And then Pilate turned his back on Christ. Pilate heard the truth. Pilate was looking to the truth into the eyes. And this is a reminder of a doctrine of our holy faith. Every single human being that reaches the age of 7 and achieves the use of reason, any human being that reaches the age reaches the use of reason at whatever age, every single one of them, God will show himself to him. That's called an epiphany. God will show himself. He showed himself to Herod through 3 kings. He showed himself to Herod the wicked, his nephew, standing before him, who was filled with impurity on Good Friday. He showed himself to Pilate. And he showed himself to John the Baptist. And he showed himself to the Blessed Virgin Mary and St. Joseph. He showed himself also to the shepherds. And he showed himself to the soldiers who stood at the cross. Jesus Christ shows himself to every human being that reaches the age of reason. There is no one who will be able to say when he dies, I did not see Christ. Remember the complaint that our Lord mentions in one of his parables, that a man will die and a woman will die, and they will go before God, and he will say, you are cursed and you are damned. And they will say, why am I cursed and why am I damned? And Jesus Christ will tell them, you are cursed and you are damned, because you saw me and you did not follow me. I was hungry, and you did not give me to eat. I was thirsty, and you did not give me to drink. I was in prison, and you did not visit me, and therefore you are damned. You are damned. And what they say, Lord, when did we see you? That is what the damned shall say. Lord, when did we see you? We don't ever remember seeing you in prison. We don't ever remember seeing you hungry. And Christ says, what you did to these least ones, you did unto me. It is an infallible dogma of our holy faith and an infallible truth. Every single human being on earth, there are now more than 7 billion people on earth. Every one of them shall see God manifest himself. Every one of them shall seek the truth. But the majority shall walk away from it. The majority shall turn from it. As Pilate did, Pilate said, what is truth? And he turned his back on it. Herod inquired diligently concerning the truth, just like the enemies of God inquired diligently, where is the truth? Who is preaching the truth? Who is standing for the truth? Please tell me who they are. And they inquire very diligently. Herod inquired diligently and secretly. It tells us that in the gospel also. He pulled together the 3 kings, St. Caspar, St. Melchior, and St. Balthasar. He called them aside and said, tell me everything you know about this star. Tell me everything you know about when it appeared to you. Well, it's been within the last year. Okay, I'll kill every baby 2 years old and younger to be on the safe side. And tell me everything about this child while you follow the star. Did anyone else follow the star with you? Good. No one did. Now I want you to go and find this child. And when you find the child, come back to me and tell me where the child is, that I may also go and adore him. Herod was asking wonderful things. And why? So that he could kill the child. So that he could kill every follower of the child. So that he could destroy the kingdom of that child. Because he did not want Jesus Christ to be his king. And therefore, he inquired diligently. Caspar, Melchior, and Balthasar were impressed. This king cares. This king wants to know about the King of Kings. Let us go and find the King of Kings, and we will go back and tell Herod about it. Herod had received an epiphany. Pilate had received an epiphany. And every human being on earth who has ever lived and reached the age of reason receives an epiphany. And then the 3 kings went. And when they saw the child, they adored him, and they offered him their treasures of gold and frankincense and myrrh. Then an angel appeared to them. The angel said, do not go back to Herod. Do not return to Herod, because he is seeking to murder the child. And Herod said he was interested in the truth. And Herod said he wants to know where the king is, that he might go and adore him. And Herod is a liar. And Herod is evil. And you have already given all the information that Herod needs. If he wanted to come and adore me, he would have done it. He does not want to come and adore. He wants to come and kill. Therefore, the 3 kings returned to their country by a different way. There are 2 sides of faith. One is to see the truth. And God shows to everyone the truth. And if faith was only to see the truth, then everyone at some point in their life would have the virtue of faith. But that's not right. Faith is the vision of things unseen. Many, like Herod, hate the sight of Jesus Christ. They hate the sight of his faith and his church. They hate the sight of his truth. There is another side to faith. It is the substance of things to be hoped for. Those who have the virtue of faith, they don't simply see that Jesus Christ is God. They don't just simply see the truth of the Catholic faith, the Roman Catholic Church. They don't just see the truth. They desire it. They want that truth to make them eternally happily in heaven. They want to be with God forever. It is the substance of things to be hoped for, and they go after that truth. They seek it. Hence, Anna and St. Simeon waited many years in the temple until God would show himself. And finally, after many, many years, Jesus Christ came as a little baby in the arms of his mother and St. Joseph. And they saw him, and they were very happy. And St. Simeon said, Nunc dimittis servum tuum Domine. Now dismiss thy servant, O Lord, according to thy word in peace. Now I have seen the Christ, let me die. And Anna went and told the people what she had seen, and they were filled with great joy. Shepherds were simply doing their work in the night. An angel came and sang to them about the beauty of this child, and they went and saw the child, and they had great joy. Everyone sees the child. Everyone shall see the king. But not everyone has joy. Some see the king and they cower in fear because the king shall bring them to eternal damnation. Some see the king and they are filled with hatred because they want to see the death of the king. Some see the king and they are filled with indifference and they don't care. And this is the majority. They see the king, but they are not interested in what the king wants them to love, what the king wants them to know, and whom the king wants them to serve. They want to simply live out their peaceful life on this earth without God. They are indifferent. And on the day of judgment, everyone is going to see the king. The king is coming in great power and majesty, including those that do not want to see him. He shall have a final epiphany. And he spoke of this epiphany to Caiaphas on Good Friday morning when he said, You, Caiaphas, thou Caiaphas, thou shalt see the Son of Man coming in power and majesty. Thou shalt see the Son of Man. He shall come in power and majesty. And you are not going to like it. And he shall be cast, body and soul, into hell. Right now, Caiaphas is only soul in hell. But on the last day, Caiaphas' eyes, those same eyes that cursed God 2,000 years ago and are now decayed in the dirt, those eyes shall be brought back perfectly healthy into the same face that said, What further need have we of witnesses? Into the same body that rent his garments, the wicked body of Caiaphas. And that body shall be perfectly constituted in perfect health and strength. And then he shall see Jesus Christ, the same one that he condemned 2,000 years ago. He is going to see Jesus Christ coming in power and majesty. And he is going to be cast, body and soul, down into hell. No one shall escape the final epiphany, the final divine manifestation. Meanwhile, those that love God, those that see him as a substance of things to be hoped for, those who want him and want to follow him, want to be with him in eternity, they shall rejoice greatly when they see Jesus Christ come. They shall rejoice greatly. So it shall be. The Epiphany is the greatest feast of the season of Christmas. It is when the kings came and worshiped him as king. And the gospel tells us the earth shall worship him as king. He is not going to be forever rejected. The majority of souls on earth today reject him. But the time will come when all who are on this earth, 100%, shall accept him as king. They shall be in the kingdom of our Lord Jesus Christ the kingdom of the church triumphant. And those that are not in that kingdom, they shall also hear the voice of God, saying, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire. The breath of the Lord is a torrent of fire. It is the fire of the angry breath of God that burns the damned souls in the middle of the earth, in hell beneath us. They also shall see the divine manifestation, and every single soul in hell shall experience the hot breath of the fire of divine wrath. And every soul in heaven shall experience the gentle warmth of the divine love and the divine mercy. And not one shall escape the divine epiphany. All shall see, but not all shall be happy. We wish to be amongst those that are rejoicing with God forever in eternity. He is not only the vision of things unseen, He is a substance of all things to be hoped for, and let us have the faith in our hearts, by which we not only believe that Jesus Christ is God and His church is the true church, but that we have the only thing we desire, the spread of that holy church, that holy faith, and to be able to possess Him forever in heaven, forever. And we'll close it at that, and God bless you all. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.